Hello and welcome back to another episode of Math with Dr. War. I'm back with another short video where we're going to be looking at polynomials. On the task test, this is high emphasis and you must be able to add, subtract, and multiply your polynomials. Today I'm going to look at multiplication of polynomials because some students find this very difficult. So I'm going to show you an easy way to multiply your polynomials. So the first question I have here states, when written in standard form, the product of 3 plus x and 2x minus 5 is. Now when you see that word product, it means you have to multiply. A lot of students are afraid of multiplication of polynomials, but I'm going to show you a neat way to multiply them. So the first thing I do is I draw a box, and then I divide my box into 4 little squares. So over here, I'm going to put my 3, and here's my x. Now, you don't need to put the plus sign. We know that without a sign, it's positive. At the top here, this will be 2x. Here is this a negative 5. We're going to have to put the minus sign. So 3 times 2x, that gives you 6x. 3 times negative 5. Now, we know when you're multiplying, a positive times a negative is a negative. And if you multiply 3 and 5, you get 15. X times 2x will give you 2x squared. Because remember, when you're multiplying from the laws of exponents, when the bases match, you keep your base and you add your exponent. So remember, this is an invisible 1 here and an invisible 1. And when you add 1 plus 1, you get 2. And then the x times the negative 5, again, a positive times a negative is a negative. And this x is like 1x, so 1x times 5 is going to be a 5x. Now, once you're finished filling in your box, we have to look for the like terms, and those are usually diagonal. Now, if I go this way, these are not like terms. This is a 2x squared, and this is a negative 15. This negative 15, we call this a constant. However, if you look diagonally this way, the 6x and the negative 5x are like terms. They're both x's. So we're going to combine these two. Combine means to add, but remember, one is positive and one is negative. And we know that when the signs are different, we subtract. So you're like, oh, if I subtract these two, a 6 and a 5, I'm going to get a 1x. Who's the bigger number? The 6, so this will be a positive 1x. My students sometimes like to write plus 1x, and I have a couple of other students who would just write plus x. Now they say to write it in standard form, so your first term will be the 2x squared, so whoever has the biggest exponent is going to be first, so that will be 2x squared is the first term, and your constant, which is the minus 15, is your last term. So we're looking for 2x squared plus x minus 15, and our answer is number 2. All right, let's look at the second one. So here it says, which product is equivalent to 4x squared minus 3x minus 27? It's like we're working in reverse. They gave us the answer, and then our answer choices are the products. So let's start multiplying. So again, draw your box and divide your box in 4s. So here's my first one. So this is 2x and this is 9. This is 2x and this is negative 3. And we're going to begin multiplying. 2x times 2x will be 4x squared. 2x times negative 3 will give me negative 6x. 9 times 2x will give me 18x. 9 times negative 3 will give me negative 27. We're going to find our like terms, which will be the diagonal. So again, if you go this way, notice these are not alike. You have a 4x squared and you have negative 27. However, here are your like terms, the 18x with the negative 6x. Again, notice the signs are different. So when you subtract them, you're going to get 12x. And you keep the sign of a larger number, you get plus 12. So your middle term for your product is a plus 12x. Now let's look at what they gave us. That's a minus 3. So our answer is not number 1. Now before you start to draw your box again, notice that for number 2, we have the same numbers. You have a 2x and a 9 and a 2x and a 3, but notice that the signs are opposite. This is a negative before it was a positive. This is a positive before it was a negative. Now, what that means is your middle term will just be the opposite. Our middle term for number 1 turned out to be a plus 12x, which means that if we drew this box and do all of this all over again, our middle term would be a negative 12x. And I'll show you why. So suppose this is a negative, and suppose this was your positive. Negative 9 times 2x would give you your negative 18. And then your 2x with the 3x would give you a positive 6. And notice, again, the signs are different. So when you subtract, you get 12x. But who's bigger? The 18. And the 18 is negative. So you would get a negative 12x. So because the signs are swapped for number 2, you would have the opposite of your middle term. So your answer is not 2. Okay, notice 3. We have some different numbers here, so let's draw a box. Let's divide it up. Here would be 4x. This is 9. This is x. This is minus 3. 4x times x is 4x squared. 4x times negative 3, negative 12x. 9 times x, 9x. 9 times negative 3, negative 27. Let's find our like terms, which will be here. Notice the signs are different. So when we subtract, that would give us 3x. Who's the bigger number? 12. So we would have a negative 3x. Notice we got the negative 3x. Your first term will be the 4x squared. And your last term will be the constant negative 27. So your answer is number 3. Now notice with number 4, we have the same numbers, 4x, 9, x, and 3. But notice again, the signs are swapped, which means that if our middle term here is negative 3x, our middle term here would have been a positive 3x. And let's prove it. So remember, this was a negative 9, and this over here was a positive 3. So 2 positives would give you a positive when you multiply. So that becomes a positive 12. And then here, a negative times a positive will give you a negative. And again, notice the signs are different. So you would subtract, which would give you a 3x. And because the 12 is bigger, that will give you a positive. So you didn't even have to multiply for number 4. So this is just a little trick, because I know sometimes students see this and say, oh my God, I don't have the time to multiply like all of these to figure out which one is the answer, because God forbid the answer was number 4. So you're using a little bit of observation to kind of eliminate your answers. And they do this all the time. Like they'll give you the 2x and the 9 and the 2x and the 3, and then they'll just swap the signs. I hope this has been helpful. Good luck on the task test.